Today we're journeying into an ancient spiritual manual that, well, surprisingly, feels more relevant than ever. The Vigyan Bhairav Tantra.
And I'm incredibly eager to get into this. For many people, the word tantra might bring up specific, often kind of misunderstood associations.
Right.
But our sources reveal something far deeper, right? Like a path to direct transformation available to you right now, navigating the chaos of daily life.
Absolutely. Our mission with this deep dive is to cut through any academic dryness or misconception and reveal the vibrant heart of this sacred text. It's less about intellectual theories, really.
Okay.
It's more about direct existential experience. Think of it as a surprising shortcut, maybe, to being profoundly informed about your own inner landscape.
So to truly understand this inner science, what kind of sources are we actually drawing from for this deep dive?
We're pulling from extensive commentaries on the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra itself. Our material describes it as, well, a practical spiritual manual, a timeless guide presenting 112 meditation techniques.
112. Wow.
Yeah, designed to transform human consciousness through direct experience. What's truly remarkable is that it's presented as a complete inner science, not tied to any religion. It requires no belief, only your own personal experimentation.
That sounds incredibly open-ended. And at its core, the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra is presented as a sacred dialogue, isn't it? Between Shiva, representing consciousness, and Devi, representing energy.
That's right.
Devi asks these really profound questions about how to go beyond mind and suffering. But Shiva's responses aren't like philosophical lectures. He gives methods, right?
Yep.
Techniques.
Precisely. When Devi asks, "What is your reality, my lord?" Shiva doesn't launch into some grand discourse. Nope. He simply offers a technique.
Ah.
The source beautifully illustrates this, saying if Devi goes through this technique, she will know. It's an experiential answer, not an intellectual one.
Right, right.
It's like trying to describe the color blue to someone who has only known black and white, versus actually helping them see blue for themselves. This text emphasizes direct knowing through firsthand experience.
That's a powerful distinction. And the sources highlight that this isn't just any dialogue, but one between two lovers. What's the significance of that intimacy?
Well, it signifies that the deeper teachings, the ones that lead you beyond the ordinary, they can only truly be expressed and received when there's a profound love, a deep trust between the two, the master and the disciple in this context. It's symbolic, like reaching the highest peak of Kailash Shiva's mythical abode. You might go on a pilgrimage there, touch it for a fleeting moment. But it's incredibly difficult to live constantly on that peak.
Okay.
Yet, in moments of intense, profound love, one can glimpse the formless through the beloved. It's in that state of deep, unconditional love that Devi's questions like, "Oh, Shiva, what is your reality?" take on this incredibly intense existential meaning. And that allows for answers that just transcend mere words.
So it's about a transformation that changes you from the inside out, not just your thoughts or beliefs. The source puts it so vividly. The experience is going to change you. The moment you enter love, you enter a different person. And when you come out, you will not be able to recognize your old face. That's pretty intense.
It is.
Why is an ancient text like this so incredibly relevant for someone living today, maybe feeling overwhelmed by, the sheer pace of modern life?
Because it offers a complete inner science that integrates every aspect of human experience. Emotion, sex, love, breath, even silence. It demonstrates that profound transformation, enlightenment, if you like, isn't some distant goal just for hermits in caves.
Right.
It's available right through your ordinary daily life. It's direct, it's inclusive, and it's timeless, not tied to any religion and require no belief, only personal experimentation. It gives you incredibly practical ways to find your own center amidst the constant demands and, let's face it, the often chaotic rhythm of modern existence.
That idea of personal experimentation really resonates, especially with the mention of those 112 meditation techniques. That sounds like, well, an overwhelming number. How do you even begin with so many?
Yeah.
And what makes them so unique?
Well, what's truly remarkable about these 112 methods, as Shiva proposes them, is that they apparently represent all the methods possible for inner transformation.
All of them.
That's the claim. They are incredibly diverse, encompassing everything from focusing on subtle body sensations, sounds, emotions, to engaging with just ordinary activities. The sheer variety means there's probably a pathway for every temperament, every moment of your day.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It makes it a really comprehensive guide to inner exploration. And the text gives a simple test. You try a method for 3 days. If it fits, if something clicks immediately and explodes within you, then you continue it for 3 months.
Ah, okay.
If nothing clicks, Shiva suggests, well, maybe spirituality is not for you. But the implication is something will click if you're open.
So it's about finding your personal method, your technique, not forcing yourself into some prescribed practice. That's actually a huge relief.
Exactly.
And I've heard Tantra often gets completely misunderstood. How does its approach compare to, say, traditional yoga? Is there a
Well,
difference?
that's a crucial distinction, yeah, and a common point of confusion. Our source explains that yoga is often about negation. It tends to think in terms of duality, trying to yoke two things together.
Okay.
It systematizes breath for health and longevity, aiming to maybe transcend or control certain aspects of life. Tantra, however, is a path of radical affirmation. It essentially says, accept whatsoever you are.
Accept everything.
Yes, Tantra is fundamentally non-divisive. It embraces yes to the whole of life. It's not really concerned with systematizing breath for physical benefits in the same way. It uses breath just as a technique to turn inward.
Hmm.
For Tantra, this very world is nirvana. This very body is a temple. It's about being whole, integrating everything, rather than rejecting anything.
Wow, that sounds incredibly liberating. Especially when you're caught in the daily grind, constantly feeling like you're fighting against yourself or, trying to be someone you're not. It just shifts the entire paradigm.
Indeed. So, now that we've glimpsed the liberating philosophy of the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the natural question is, how do we actually do it?
Right.
Let's pull back the curtain and explore some of these surprisingly simple yet potent practices that you can actually weave into your busy life, maybe starting today.
Yeah.
No need for special rituals or dogmas, just awareness.
Okay, I'm ready. My days are packed. Deadlines, emails, just trying to keep up. How can these ancient insights help someone like me find some stillness or clarity in all that?
Okay, let's start with one of the most subtle yet profound. Watching the breath gap. Our source says, you can know the breath going out, you can know the breath coming in, but you never know the gap between the two.
The gap.
Yeah, the technique is incredibly simple. You're not to train the breath, leave it just as it is. Just become aware of the breath coming in, its full passage, then the breath going out.
So it's about noticing those tiny, almost imperceptible pauses between the inhale and the exhale.
Exactly. And in that turning gap, that minuscule moment where there is no breath, Shiva says, realize.
Hmm.
It's a moment of profound presence, a little window into who you are beyond the breath itself.
Mm.
It asks, who is the master inside this house of the body? What is it to simply be? And the great thing is, this can be practiced even when in worldly activity, like walking down the street, waiting in line, or even during a stressful meeting. You don't need a special posture or place.
I can absolutely imagine trying that during a chaotic workday. Just noticing those tiny gaps, it feels like it could create a little pocket of stillness right in the middle of everything, like a mini pause
It
button.
really can. Now, consider entering silence through sound. This involves intoning a sound, like autumn, slowly and mindfully.
Okay, chanting autumn.
Sort of, but the focus is different.
Yeah.
As the sound becomes less and less audibly, and then enters soundfulness or maybe even soundlessness, you simultaneously, so do you, enter deeper awareness.
Ah, so the sound isn't the goal itself. It's more like a vehicle to something else.
Precisely. You reduce the sound's pitch, make it more subtle, fainter, and at the same time you become more alert to its fading quality. The sound ultimately dissolves, and you enter a state of total awareness beyond the vibration.
Wow.
Our source actually says, this is one of the most beautiful experiences possible to man. You can practice this in a small room where the sound can vibrate and create a kind of charged atmosphere.
That feels like it could be a really powerful way to quiet the inner chatter. That's a constant challenge for me, just letting the sound carry you away from the noise of the mind.
It can be. Next, let's explore using emotional states as doorways. This is particularly relevant for modern life, where emotions can often feel, well, overwhelming and seem to come from outside us.
Yeah, definitely.
The technique states, when a mood against someone or for someone arises, do not place it on the person in question, but remain centered.
Okay, so if I'm angry about something, I shouldn't just lash out, obviously. But I also shouldn't try to suppress it completely. What's the alternative then?
Neither. The energy of anger, or any emotion, it isn't inherently good or bad. It just arises from a source within you. Instead of projecting it outwards onto a person or situation or fighting it internally, the idea is you float backward with the anger.
Flow backward.
Yeah, using its warm path, as the text says, to return to its origin. The text is very clear. Energy is neither anger, nor love, nor hate. Energy is simply energy neutral.
Neutral energy.
Right. if you can follow this path back to the source, the energy just subsides. Not through suppression, but through a kind of reunion with its pure, unconditioned state. It dissolves back into potential.
Okay, what's a relatable example of this in action? How would I actually do that in my busy life? It sounds a bit abstract.
Okay, imagine someone like you feeling stressed at work. A colleague says something irritating, and you feel that familiar spike of frustration rising.
Yep, happens all the time.
Instead of immediately reacting, snapping back, or just stewing internally, you acknowledge the anger. You feel it in your body, maybe a tightening in your chest, a flush in your face, but you consciously avoid placing it on the colleague.
So don't blame them mentally.
Right. You just allow the energy of the emotion itself to lead you inward, like a current pulling you back to its origin, back to the source before it became anger. Our source mentions a powerful teaching from Gurdjieff.
Gurdjieff!
Yeah, apparently he would sometimes create situations for his students to get angry or disturbed, that he'd suddenly shout, "Remember, remain undisturbed."
Wow, that's intense teaching.
It is, but the point is, this helps to heal incomplete past experiences and teaches you how to remain undisturbed in a situation which is disturbed. It transforms reactivity into conscious awareness.
Wow. Okay, so it's not about avoiding emotions at all, but moving through them to a deeper awareness, using their raw energy as a pathway back to yourself. That's a profound shift.
Now, a technique that might surprise some, and is often misunderstood when people hear the word tantra, turning love or sexual energy into awareness.
Okay, here we go.
Tantra views authentic sex, authentic intimacy, as a total act, potentially a no-mind act, where you become headless of ordinary thought.
Headless.
Yeah, there's no analytical reasoning or mental chatter in truly authentic intimacy, is there?
Right. Okay. That makes sense. It's a very different perspective than the popular perception of Tantra, which often focuses solely on the physical, sometimes in a performative way. So headless doesn't mean literally losing your head, obviously.
Yeah, not at all. Headless here means that your analytical judging mind, the part that's constantly labeling and observing, it just goes quiet. You're fully immersed in the experience, not standing apart, observing or intellectualizing it.
Got it.
The core teaching is, at the start of sexual union, keep attentive on the fire in the beginning, and so continuing, avoid the embers in the end.
Avoid the embers in the end. What does that mean?
It means staying with the rising energy, the aliveness, the fire, rather than getting lost in the aftermath, the dissipation, the embers. It's about being fully present in that rising energy, allowing it to become a vibrating energy, where a sense of oneness is centered within you.
And this isn't just about the physical act itself, then, is it? It sounds much broader.
No, not solely. It's about understanding that sex, in its purest form, can be a vehicle to experience profound unity and transcendence. In fact, our source provocatively states, all meditation is essentially the experience of sex without sex.
Whoa, okay, unpack that a bit.
Well, what that seemingly provocative statement really points to is recognizing that the profound state of unity and dissolution of the individual self, that sense of merging which can be experienced in deep intimacy, can also be accessed purely through internal awareness and meditative practice without the physical act itself.
Ah, I see. The state is the key.
Exactly. Once you've had that deep experience of oneness, the source even says, even remembering union without the embrace, the transformation. True love, in this tantric sense, is also a cessation of thinking. The source says the other becomes divine only when you are not, meaning when your ego dissolves.
So it's about accepting and transforming that powerful energy, not denying it, and seeing how it points to a deeper unity. That makes so much more sense than the usual interpretations.
Finally, let's explore awareness in ordinary acts. The source uses this beautiful poetic language here, saying, "Oh, lotus-eyed one, sweet of touch, when singing, seeing, tasting, be aware you are and discover the ever-living."
Be aware you are.
Yeah, it's about self-remembering, being deeply aware of your own being that you are. Just the simple fact of your existence in that moment.
Like really being present while I'm just doing everyday things, not just rushing through them on autopilot.
Precisely that. When eating or drinking, become the taste of the food or drink and be filled by the taste. Really feel the coolness of water as you drink it. Let its ripples spread through your body.
Instead of just gulping it down while thinking about email.
Exactly. Or suck something and become the sucking, rather than thinking of yourself as the sucker. The source uses another great analogy. You are running. Become the running. Do not be the runner.
Become the running.
Dissolve the sense of a separate doer. This transforms mundane activities into profound opportunities for centering and presence. This simple awareness helps you recognize that often everything is, only you are not in your daily busyness. You're lost in thought, not present. It prompts you to awaken to your own core being.
That's incredibly powerful. Simple, but powerful. It makes me realize how much of my life I probably spend not being truly present, just mentally checked out while my body performs tasks.
It's very common. And these techniques highlight a core tantric principle. Acceptance will be followed by transformation, but do not make acceptance a technique for transformation.
Yeah.
Don't fight against yourself or your nature.
Right.
When the text says the animal in you is a great potential, it isn't about fighting your instincts or desires. It's about recognizing the raw power within them. Tantra suggests that when you stop resisting these energies, they can be transformed and channeled. They become a source of strength and awareness, rather than something to be constantly tamed or suppressed. Fight creates defeat. Acceptance allows growth.
So it's really not about becoming someone else or a better version of yourself, but truly realizing who you already are right here, right now.
Yes, exactly. The true self is described as a hidden treasure. Nothing is to be achieved somewhere in the future. You have not yet recognized it, but it is there already in you. You are the treasure, but you go on begging.
Wow. You are the treasure, but you go on begging. That hits home.
It's an invitation to stop searching outside yourself for what is already fundamentally within.
But what about fear? I feel like sometimes, maybe in meditation or just quiet moments, I get close to something deeper in myself and then this fear grips me, a feeling of nothingness or like I might lose myself. Is that common?
Oh, that's a very common experience. The source suggests every one of you have tried in some life or other some meditative technique. You have been near to the nothingness and then fear gripped you and you escaped.
Yeah, escape sounds right.
But this nothingness isn't an empty void in a scary way. It's more like the absence of all the mental constructs, the labels, the identities we built around ourselves.
Okay.
It's like stripping away all the layers until you reach the fundamental, unconditioned awareness that is your pure being, untouched by thought or fear. It's the fear of losing what you think you are, the temporary boundaries you've constructed around yourself that holds people back, not fear of your true nature.
That makes sense. It sounds like the entire journey then is about transforming our relationship with ourselves and with reality itself. It emphasizes that the mind is the disease. And unless you go beyond the constant chatter of the mind, you can never be truly healthy or whole.
Indeed. Life is a miracle, the source reminds us. If you have not known its mystery, that only shows that you do not know the technique for how to approach it. These techniques are about learning how to be awake at your center, functioning for the first time, truly alive to the miracle that is existence right here.
This has given me so much to think about, really. It's not about adding something new, is it? It's about uncovering what's already there. The idea that this very world is nirvana, this very body is a temple that truly changes everything.
It does. It really does. This is the core insight offered by the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. You don't need to seek escape from the world, only a deeper awareness within it. It's about accessing your true potential by simply being present, accepting all aspects of yourself, and turning ordinary life into a path to extraordinary awareness.
It truly reshapes how you might see daily challenges, not as obstacles to avoid, but maybe as doorways to presence. The treasure, it seems, really is always within you.
Indeed. Take a moment now, maybe, wherever you are, and just simply notice your breath. Feel it coming in and going out. Maybe notice that subtle pause in between, the stillness that's right there.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope this exploration has given you a fresh perspective and perhaps a glimpse into the profound possibilities of everyday awareness.